Introduction to overseas calling cards suitable for use in China in 2024, mainstream card options. It has been 2 years since I introduced the first issue of overseas phone cards in 2022. In these 2 years there have been 2 relatively big changes in overseas phone cards. One is that more and more overseas carriers have launched eSIM cell phone cards, contactless, all online processing, greatly reducing the threshold for domestic purchase and use. The other change is that because of taobao idle fish sales restrictions, if we have not been able to buy physical overseas phone cards as convenient as before. Below we will follow the 3 domestic use scenarios of SMS reception, internet access and international calls to introduce one by one, to help you choose the most suitable overseas phone card for your needs, or as the saying goes, there is no good or bad phone card, only whether it suits you or doesn't suit you. As per usual, let's talk about a couple scenarios where we need an overseas calling card. The first is guaranteed SMS reception. Because of various anti-fraud and security management requirements, domestic carriers have more and more interception strategies for SMS, especially for overseas landed SMS implementation is more strict. When we sign up for network services and overseas bank SMS, it is very important for us to use overseas services to receive SMS without any obstacles. The second is the protection of privacy. Mainland China's ubiquitous ability to analyze network data can determine whether you have an account on those platforms based on the verification code text messages your phone has received from those platforms. After using an overseas calling card, we can best protect our privacy. The third is that overseas more open communication services provide good value for money, overseas existence for many years, but in the domestic delay in commercialization of Wi-Fi calling can be realized through the network of voice calls to the global landing, the realization of the international voice and text message very low price, for example, Red Pocket nearly unlimited amount of text message voice usage. The last thing to mention is security, and the security here is in terms of compliance. In terms of access to overseas traffic, building a proxy to flip the wall is not in line with domestic regulations. But after the normal purchase of overseas phone cards, cell phones do not need to install the flip wall software by the operator in accordance with the rules of the International Telecommunication Exchange will be routed to the network of overseas carriers, is in line with the requirements of the existing network specifications, which is a point for some of the domestic population also needs to be considered. After understanding what overseas phone cards can help us solve, we will start the introduction in 3 scenarios, SMS reception, internet access and international calls, and you refer to the mainstream phone cards I introduced according to your needs. The first scenario is just needing SMS reception. I believe that SMS reception should have covered 80% of the claims of overseas calling cards, for which we need to focus on cheap, stable and can be used for a long time. In this case, the first recommendation is the giffgaff calling card. A calling card that I highlighted in the 2022 video advantages include, firstly, the low price of a guaranteed number, £0.3 per text message, 2 renminbi and 70 cents, wide range of use. Because the number is a standard mobile number, general internet services can be registered properly. Supporting domestically issued credit cards for fee payment, solving the payment problem will allow long-term use. Security guarantee. In the website of the website's service provider website can be very convenient to find the lost function menu. If we encounter overseas cell phone card loss, if we can't close the card immediately, it will bring us the hidden danger of information and assets. With the online closure function is very helpful for us. giffgaff not only can use the physical SIM card at the same time support eSIM, no matter we use the national line of cell phones or overseas version of the phone can be used without obstacles. In addition to using giffgaff alone, here's a combination I recommend, which is Google Voice plus giffgaff. I am using the general overseas software and websites to use Google Voice. Encounter does not support GV website, then choose giffgaff. On the one hand is the Google Voice SMS through the network directly, as long as which gadgets are good to use, the message receiving speed is very fast, to solve the text message content exchanged by the overseas carriers to domestic telecom carriers and then sent to you. In addition, Google Voice does not need to occupy a card slot to realize the SMS reception through the app software. Through this combination can realize the ordinary service convenient and fast reception, and like banking, register TikTok such a high demand, low frequency of the use of SMS service stable reception, the use of the experience is very good. The giffgaff is relatively easy to buy, just buy it on Taobao Idlefish. If you have a friend studying in the UK, let him apply for a SIM card online for free to bring it back when he returns home on vacation. That's a zero-cost way to get it. After getting the physical card, you can recharge it on the official website, support the domestic issuance of Visa, MasterCard credit card, it is still very convenient. Google Voice, before the acquisition of the cost of 10 yuan, now the price is rising and the source is unknown, easy to seal. This will need to be a good poking around. Recently there are netizens using the trial Google Fi expiration to Google Voice to stabilize the way to get. I have not been specifically studied, there is a need for friends can pay attention to the next. In addition to giffgaff, for those of you who have an eSIM phone card, a recommended alternative is Simyo. The availability of this phone card is still quite high. When I signed up for a Ukrainian Google account, I was able to get through the verification process with this phone card, but not with my own Ukrainian Honeybee. This card is cheap to hold, it's possible to use it every 6 months, or reload it every 6 months. Use the link at the bottom of my video to potentially get a $5 bonus, pay €5, and end up with euro 7.50 plus 5 equals euro 12.50, which can last a long time with text messages sent every 6 months. Here, by the way, this card support domestic issuance of Visa and MasterCard, but recharge cannot, that is to say, this card unless there is a European bank card or almost impossible to recharge. The good thing is that the card almost does not need a second recharge. If in case you need to recharge, here is a workaround, open the card with their own referral link and then register an account to open a card. You pay €5 to the new card will be reimbursed in the form of rewards recharged to the old account. The old account can continue to use for a long time. The new card number to give away or resale of the new card is possible. The second scenario is roaming internet access for overseas calls for direct internet access at home using an overseas phone card. I've never found a situation where this is necessary. Until I met a friend who uses a Huawei cell phone. They asked to use Huawei cell phone. You can install overseas speculation software, but the installation of small rocket class is absolutely not. But without a special network environment like Firstrade, this speculation software always timeout cannot open. In addition, more often seen is often out of the country friends to find a multi-country roaming cheap cell phone card, domestic receipt of text messages, in the need to go abroad to open the traffic to enjoy relatively low prices, no worries about the use of traffic, which is a pretty good choice. For domestic internet access, my first recommendation is the Malaysia Celcom phone card. Not only can you get unlimited traffic and wall-free internet access in the country by purchasing a roaming traffic pack, but you can also purchase Apple's Apple One service at a discounted price to enjoy Apple's music, TV, cloud storage, and other services. If you do need these services, the regional price difference through regional purchase in Malaysia can make up for the expensive phone card usage. The Celcom phone supports native Malaysian IPs and allows you to watch Netflix's in-house and non-in-house series directly. A friend left a comment in the previous video that some of the websites can't be opened. Yes, Malaysia's Muslim nature decided that you want to see the kind of, don't ask me how to know, direct access can't be opened. It is true that can't be opened directly, but their blocking measures is DNS domain name resolution blocking. Modify the DNS address service can be, compared to the domestic firewall, is far worse. Can roam to China's domestic use of network services of the price of cell phone cards are not cheap. The use of this phone card in China and 57 countries to use the price of traffic is 98 Malaysian dollars, equivalent to about 150 yuan, compared to the price can be considered cost-effective. It's also a good idea for those who travel abroad frequently to have a card that offers cheaper international roaming rates to third countries than some domestic and Hong Kong rates. This calling card can currently be purchased as a physical card on Taobao. and you can just authenticate your real name and choose a package on the official app. You can refer to my previous video for more details about this calling card. Some friends may ask, to say the domestic internet if Hong Kong phone card has a lot of options, why not? Because Hong Kong's services are becoming more and more restrictive, using a Hong Kong phone card nowadays is no longer possible to use TikTok, and even chat accounts accidentally logged in Hong Kong will increase the risk of being blocked. So I don't recommend Hong Kong calling cards for either SMS, voice, or internet. Besides Celcom, other calling cards are either expensive or can't be used in the country for a long time. If it's just for a short period of time and you still have an SM-enabled cell phone, I would recommend downloading and using one of those apps in the App Store that offer global traffic, such as Dent and Airalo. It's temporary, and then it's over, and doesn't take up any card slots, so you don't have to think about things like renewals, number protection, and so on. The third scenario is international calls. Here we recommend two phone cards, our Ultra Phone and Red Pocket card. Both phone cards support a certain amount of free SMS and voice in the set. Obviously Red Pocket is a bit cheaper, but Ultra is much better in terms of ease of use. In terms of access, Ultra can be purchased on Taobao Idle Fish in China, and supports domestically issued Visa and MasterCard credit cards to cover the cost. While Red Pocket only supports US credit cards, SIM cards or yearly activation cards need to be forwarded to the Chinese region. Call Ultra in the absence of network environment. You can send and receive text messages and receive calls through international roaming, although the price will be quite high, but let the use of more stable will not appear because there is no network will not be able to use the problem. Red Pocket, although it does not support through the domestic 3 mobile operators to provide roaming services, but if you use a dual SIM phone, you can still be no Wi-Fi situation can use the main card traffic through mobile data to achieve network calls, but traffic internet stability is relatively poor. Although Red Pocket does not support roaming service through the 3 domestic mobile carriers, if you are using a dual SIM phone, you can still use the traffic of the main card to make calls through mobile data without Wi-Fi, but the stability of the traffic on the internet is relatively poor. There is also a little difference. I also remember Ultra can be directly in the phone to open Wi-Fi calling, but Red Pocket cannot. You need to communicate with the online customer service staff online, provide the address has customer service background settings. And I used the process, found that Wi-Fi calling service is tied to the phone. If you change the phone, need to recommunicate to reopen. In addition to cumbersome, the key is to provide an address when the heart is not bottom. After all, they know exactly where the address provided is from. So if you don't need to make calls outside of the US, it is advisable to open an Ultra Mobile. At least it has the advantages of easy access, minimal human interaction, and minimal restrictions on bank cards when recharging. This video introduces all the mainstream overseas phone cards suitable for use in China. The threshold for obtaining is not very high. All the cards are used by myself. I hope to give you valuable reference from a user's point of view, to cover most of the use of the needs of the majority. In the next installment, we'll cover some relatively niche calling cards, such as using a Ukrainian calling card to buy Netflix, using a Philippine calling card to sign up for Spotify, and so on, right? I hope to like and support Track Notes, and we'll see you in the next video.